We have a wedge forming on the daily chart for Bitcoin, and that's usually a pretty good indication that there is going to be a big move coming up. And we're going to take a look at that right now. But before we do, just remember this is not financial advice. Please don't take trades solely on anything I'm saying. Please do your own due diligence in all your trades. Only you can press the buy and sell button, and you should think hard when you do. All right, Bitcoin daily chart. Look at this. We've got a triangular wedge forming, which is seeing price constrict further and further into this one spot right here about in the middle, which gives a pretty good indication we're going to see a move soon on the daily chart, either up or down. Now, I can't really say which way that's going to go. And so we're going to look, probably do it this way. We're going to first look for some clues. Like if I look out on the weekly chart, I see kind of a range right here I might draw a line for. And look at that weekly channel. It's going to turn out being a weekly channel on this side as well, something similar to that. Now that's a pretty steep upward weekly channel, but that is what Bitcoin has done since, goodness, the 16th or so of October, almost 2 months now. It's taken this very steep angle up. Okay, so to say that it won't continue would be ignorance. It very well could continue. To say it will continue, well, we can't definitely say that. I'm just saying it's a possibility on this weekly chart. Now, if I go back out to the daily, now we've got a couple lines here. Try not to let them get confused. Let's erase this one. This was a previous channel that I'm not worried about anymore, and kind of clean up the chart a little bit. Here's the daily wedge I was talking about, and this is the weekly channel up that I just drew on the weekly chart. So that would give some indication that if Bitcoin breaks out of this triangular wedge up, there's all kinds of room for it to go up. I mean, it could go up, even staying in this weekly channel all the way up. Good grief, that's almost up to 50,000 and above. So it could really get a move on if it took off here. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to do that quickly. It may take some time. I mean, you can see right here, if I draw a line of resistance right here, that's the high it's made recently. Certainly it has to get above 44,810 before it's going to move up to 50,000. So I would say if it breaks out of this wedge right here, you could look for it to head on up to 44,810 because it has already made that, declared that it's high. And that's not that big of a move. That's from 43 to 44,810. Bitcoin could easily do that. Now, how much higher would it go? Could it go, maybe I should say? I'm out on the weekly chart. You see this high right here? I'm definitely going to put a line there. That's at what, 48,245. That's not a bad target either. You can also see the bottom of these three wicks on the weekly chart. I would put a line there. Let's see what that looks like if I put a line somewhere around there. That's 45.6. So there's you some good targets. Those aren't unreasonable. This is, you kind of can almost combine into one target, almost to a 45,000, you could almost say. So if you wanted to move a line to 45,000 and get rid of these two lines, that would be fine as well. But that's really where Bitcoin's going to head next. If it can break out of this channel, it's got to test these highs. And then if it moves on, it might very well stay in this weekly channel and head on up to 48,000 or so. Now, what happens if Bitcoin falls out the bottom of this channel? Well, we've got two things. We've got the daily wedge, okay, and the weekly channel, which we saw again here on the weekly chart. So if it falls out, that's a pretty good indication that price is going to be moving down. Why? Because it has broken a pattern that it has been creating on the daily chart, and it has also broken a pattern that it has been creating on the weekly chart that's been going on for about 2 months. That would be a pretty strong break. Okay, so you want to watch if Bitcoin falls out of these channels, that would be somewhere around, I don't know, what's that, around 41,000 roughly. Then you're probably going to find Bitcoin headed down somewhat. Now, how far could it head down? I've got this line here, and this line, I think I'm going to keep it there for a minute, but it looks like this line of support was just the open and close of this day. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the daily. I'm going to draw a fib from, I don't know, let's just say this high to this, or that low to this high. And it's made Bitcoin has made a fantastic run up lately. This doesn't encapsulate the entire run up. It's only about a month's worth. But if you look at the, no, I don't really like that one. I was looking at the .618 and I was thinking, well, what if the market fell down to .618? But it's almost got to that point already. It's almost to that .618. So let me back this out a little bit. I might not give it enough room to run. Let's make it to this swing low. Yeah, that would be more like it. That would be more like it. And okay, so this .618. Okay, so if you look at that fib I drew from this swing low, which does encapsulate this major move. This was 2 months ago, up to the very high. Look at this .618 line. It's usually the first line you'll look at on a retracement for fib. If the market fell all the way down here, which is the reason I like this one, is it's pretty close to a round number of 38,000. Look to the right where my mouse is, 38,000, almost right on this green line. And also, if you expand this, that green line happens to be at the almost the top of that wick, at the top of that daily, at the top of that daily, at the top of that daily, that daily, that daily, that daily, on and on and on and on and on it goes. My point being, 38 is definitely a very important level for Bitcoin in this movement. It has been up and it could be down. If Bitcoin comes down to 38,000, I wouldn't be too concerned. I wouldn't like it. Obviously. I'm long on crypto, but I wouldn't be concerned. So if Bitcoin falls out of this channel and out of this wedge, look for it to hit 40,000. It'll probably pause there. We'll have to make a little decision there. The market will decide what it wants to do. Don't be terribly surprised if it comes down to 38. Then we'll have to see, okay, what is the crypto market going to do? That's a decent fall from 44,000 down to 38. What is it going to do next? Could it continue back up and start making higher highs? It could. We certainly wouldn't want it to give up 38,000. That would be bad news for the short term on crypto. So we'll just have to wait and see. So, in summary, Bitcoin could, let me delete this so you can see that, break out of this channel and move up. Watch these lines as it does. If I reverse that, if it falls out of the channel, look for it to hit 40,000. Wait to see what it does. If it goes down to 38, don't be too concerned. And if it hits 38, we'll definitely have to reevaluate and see what crypto is going to do next. All right, so that's short term what I believe Bitcoin could do. Don't try to predict. Let's just prepare. Let the market tell us what it's going to do. We've got some good patterns here for the market to react around. Let's let the market tell us what it's going to do and act accordingly. Of course, I'll be back here to give you updates just as soon as possible. All right, y'all take care.